Hello everybody and welcome back to Red Eagle Politics. Make sure to like this video down below and subscribe to the channel if you are new. So, yesterday I released my Kenosha trial documentary. It actually got demonetized and age restricted instantly. I'd still encourage people to go check it out because it was a pretty good documentary. Many people are saying that it was my best work so far. I think it's definitely up there for sure. And we're seeing these white pills pile up. Obviously, we know this. We saw what happened in the state of Virginia. We are probably going to see a favorable verdict in the trial this week or maybe early next week. I don't know when the verdict is going to be coming, but closing arguments were done today. So we are going to be riding this wave of white pills. You see a lot of people waking up in terms of the failures of the Republican establishment. A lot of boomers, a lot of primary voters waking up. Will it be enough to unseat everybody who needs to be unseated? I don't know, but if we can get the ball rolling and have a decent caucus in there that is not controlled opposition, I think that that would be very good moving forward. So do keep that in mind. And 2022 is slated to be a very big year, and this poll that just dropped is incredible for the Republican Party. I'm going to explain why. But plus 23 in the battlegrounds, the same battlegrounds that if you add up all the vote tallies were pretty much neck and neck. If anything, Biden won that group of states by a very slim margin. And then rest of country, R plus 7, R plus 10 total in a D plus 1 registered voters sample nonetheless. I mean, if we look at likely voters, it's probably even higher than that. This is insanity. And I'm going to explain why, and we're going to look at the magnitude because this is historic and it is potentially going to happen. This is not just an outlier poll. We saw polls last week that were R plus 6, R plus 7, R plus 8, R plus 10. I mean, it's possible. Nothing that Biden can do at this point is going to help him. He is falling off a cliff, no matter how many pork-filled, quote-unquote, infrastructure bills that he decides to sign. So we're going to get into this, but first I do have to tell you guys about my very good friends over at My Patriot Supply. Friends, do you feel uncertain about the future, especially with the holidays upon us? You're wondering, is there anything you can do to protect yourself and your family from unexpected food shortages? Because there is. Our friends over at My Patriot Supply specialize in emergency long-term storage food. They're America's #1 preparedness company, and they are well stocked with the food you're going to need. Other companies have run out of almost everything they sell because they didn't prepare for what the world is going through right now, but My Patriot Supply walks the walk. You can trust this company, and right now you can save $100 on their 3-month emergency food kit. This kit has enough food to get you through difficult times ahead, but don't wait or you may miss out. Go to preparewithredeagle.com and save $100 on your 3-month food kit. To avoid holiday shipping delays, act right now. Once again, preparewithredeagle.com. So this poll comes out, and keep in mind, this poll is from ABC or Washington Post, and they were pretty accurate in 2016 and 2018, but they botched 2020 in a laughable fashion. So do keep that in mind as well. This is not some right-leaning pollster. And it just shows how unpopular Biden is, but also how uniquely unpopular he is in swing areas. I mean, you look at this, these 8 states, Arizona, narrow Biden, Florida, lean Trump, Georgia, narrow Biden, New Hampshire, likely Biden, Nevada, lean Biden, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, tilt Biden, North Carolina, tilt Trump, according to the certified tally that we see. And all in all, it was probably 49-49 in the 2020 election. However, what do we see right here, right now? Republicans up by 23 points. That magnitude is insane. We have not seen this magnitude in years. 2010, we saw an R plus 6.8. A lot of people say, 94 was the big year. No, that's a retcon. Actually, 2010 was the biggest year. A lot of people point to 94 because that's the first time Republicans had control of the House in essentially decades, but 2010 had a larger wave in terms of seats. I think 63 to, what was it, like 54? The popular vote margin was roughly the same. I think 2010 might have been a little bit higher, but not by a significant amount. So what we see here is the potential for a large wave. And we know we're a very polarized country. Obviously, a lot of people will just crawl over broken glass to vote against the Republican Party compared to years past. However, Biden is this unpopular that his voters are just super demoralized And when you look at this, this is a registered voter poll that oversampled Dems by 1. Now, obviously, nationally, we are probably a D+2, D+3 country. There's more Democrats than Republicans. However, independents typically lean more conservative than liberal, but could vote for either party. We know this. However, most independents are not true independents. Most are right-leaning independents, such as myself. I'm not a Republican, but usually when I vote, I do vote Republican. I've never voted for a Democrat before, probably won't really anytime soon, unless it was a rare protest vote or something like that, but that's not going to happen. We look at this right here, plus 23. So we talk about plus 6, right? Plus 6.8, roughly R plus 7 in 2010. And then we see 2018 was D plus closer to 9, although you take out the seats where they didn't really run a candidate for the Republican side, especially prevalent in California, and it was down to like D plus 6, D plus 7. So we compare that to what we saw in 1984. Reagan's landslide in 1984, right? Okay, he only won by 18. 1972, the infamous Nixon just destruction of George McGovern. He won by 23 points. So in the swing states, according to this poll, across many swing states, 6 of 8 which voted for Joe Biden in the 2020 election, Republicans have a 23-point lead. That's not a typo, 23-point lead over the Democrats. Now, that is incredible because you look at this, this means that Gretchen Whitmer's probably going to go down. Michigan was not polled, obviously. But if it was, we know Whitmer's going to go down. You look at the governor elections, okay? What do Republicans need to win at that point? If they're having an R plus 10 electorate, we know that they are probably going to win in Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, New Hampshire. Obviously, Sununu's running again for governor. Minnesota, I think Minnesota goes. Believe it or not, I think Minnesota in this reality would go because Democrats are just super demoralized, and Minnesota has a lot of progressive Democrat voters or far left Democrat voters, whichever you prefer, that probably are not too enthused for Joe Biden right now. South Carolina, definitely South Carolina red for the governorship. Nevada at this point. New Mexico with Ron Chetty. Arizona, Kari Lake. The detractors are wrong on her. I'm going to do a documentary why probably later this month. Alaska, Georgia, Florida. Virginia's now red, believe it or not, so 32. We're talking about what can we add, obviously. Don't forget Vermont and Massachusetts, but maybe Connecticut or Rhode Island or Maine at that point could flip into the Republican column. I mean, this would be an insane magnitude wave, mainly in the swing states, because that really shows us where the unpopularity is. And if Biden's underwater and Democrats are underwater by 23 points, or even if they're underwater by like 12 points in these states right now, it's not going to matter at the end of the day. Whoever you put up, most likely it's going to be Trump running on the Republican ticket in 2024. They are going to win in 2024 by a landslide in the swing states. Georgia probably would go red in 2024 at this rate, which is incredible because we didn't foresee this. I mean, Biden's underwater. The People's Pundit Daily poll has Trump beating him in 2024 by, I think, 11 points. I mean, you look at these numbers, big numbers, very big numbers that we're seeing here, and registered voters nonetheless. If you use likely voters, you're probably going to have an even more favorable electorate because keep in mind, Republicans, like I said, probably going to be favored in terms of party ID in 2022 just because that's typically how it works. We know that in 2010, I think McCain voters and Obama voters made up the same share of the electorate, and you'll probably see Trump voters make up a larger share of the electorate nationally than Biden voters in terms of their 2020 vote choice. So do keep that in mind as well. But the Senate races, I want to go through these quickly. If this holds up, you are going to win all the states you were expected to win. You're going to pick off Arizona. You're going to get that 54 seat total as your floor, which is incredible because a lot of people said it wouldn't be done. New Hampshire, even that's going to flip. I mean, honestly, if things change, I would expect Democrats to hold New Hampshire. But at this rate, I think that Don Bolduc or whoever it's going to be is going to get that Senate seat because we know Sununu's not going to be running, but it's not going to make a difference. Now, accidentally filled in Colorado, so do keep note Pennsylvania will be more likely to flip than Colorado. But 54, Now, where do Republicans go from here? Keep in mind, these races are more nationalized. You're not going to win a Senate election in a place like Oregon. Maybe you could win the governorship there if the Democrat has a scandal or Republicans run a really good candidate. Same thing with, Connecticut, right? But when it comes to the Senate, it's unlikely Republicans win any of these states here. They're not going to win Illinois. They're not going to win in Hawaii, Maryland, Connecticut, Vermont, or New York. However, Colorado, I think, could flip. I'm not saying it will. I think it could, depending on the candidate. I don't think Michael Bennet is necessarily untouchable. I know Colorado has a uniquely high turnout because of mail-in voting, so I think it's going to be a tough task ahead, especially as Polis, his popularity is going up for some reason. So 55-45, I mean, this is entirely possible if Cory Gardner runs, because we know Cory Gardner got within 10 points in 2020. And if this is truly a R+10 national environment, Cory Gardner can win. Other than that, I'm not entirely sure. But 1972 in the swing states, which are typically the bellwethers, these 8 states, that's what they're going after. Independents despise Joe Biden. They're coming home. And we're seeing this. The white pills continue to add up. They continue to mount. I don't want to see or hear any dooming from anybody. We got this. Got to do it with the right people, though. I mean, if we elect people, the standard Republicans that we've been electing for many years and put them in power, it's going to be useless. I'd rather have 51 Senate seats than 65 if we can have the right people, which is why primaries are very important. And it seems like in terms of the Senate races, the right candidates are leading the polls and or are going to get the Trump endorsements in all of the pivotal states, which is a good thing. When it comes to the House, again, similar thing there. So we'll see what happens. But either way, R+23 in the swing states, R+10 nationwide. I mean, you got to be happy about this, folks, but you can't get complacent. So anyways, guys, thanks for watching this video. Please like this video down below, comment down below, and subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell for notifications so you never miss another video. Follow me on social media. The links are all in the description below. As always, guys, thanks for watching. Red Eagle out.